Welcome to Join Us today. I am Amisi Nyamiche Thompson. We are a home of independent, fearless, credible journalism. This afternoon, private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu arrives at the office of the Special Prosecutor for his fourth meeting, reiterating his refusal to cooperate without a reconstituted committee amidst corruption and incompetence allegations against SP Kpebu. Meanwhile, Martin Kpebu is also considering
country development. We'll now see where the merits lie. If a soldier insults a citizen, are we saying the citizen cannot reply? If the court so hold, we'll see. If the court say no, you can't in the first place as a soldier, what are you even doing there, etc. So we'll see. So I cannot say that the
Also coming up this afternoon, Trade Union Congress mounts pressure on government, demands urgent renegotiation of 2026 minimum wages and base pay, following PRC announcement of new utility tariff hikes. Details later in the bulletin. Also, President Mahama attributes the poor results in recent WASI to years of neglect of basic education. We have more, as he says, the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service will study the examiner's report and implement urgent reforms. President Mahama also declares war on criminal elements in the country, insisting Ghana will not surrender a single street, community, or public space to criminals. We have more, as Inspector General of Police says the police service has put in place comprehensive security arrangements ahead of the Christmas season. These and more with me, Mamisi Nyamiche Thompson. Don't go away. Well, we start from the OSP. Private legal practitioner Martin Kpebu was reported at the office of the Special Prosecutor, reiterating his tough stance not to cooperate with investigations without a constituted committee, following corruption and incompetence allegations he made against SP Kpebu. Mr. Kpebu was placed under arrest at the OSP on Tuesday for allegedly obstructing an officer on duty. He was later released late last night after a temporary hold-up at the NIB for a bail term of a landed property with one surety. In an interview with Joy News' James Aveji, Martin Kpebu indicated that he is considering illegal action against the office of the Special Prosecutor for what he describes as an abuse of bail conditions against him.
You come here and do that, I'll show you. But of course, before I finish the sentence at 10, then I saw that it was another soldier, okay, who now was saying it. So he continued that next time you come here and do that, I'll show you. So I was like, why would you show me? What is illegal? What have I done wrong? You can't do anything. So I shot back that, no, you can't do anything. Then he said, you're a stupid man. So I looked at it. Immediately, I didn't see any reason why he would call me stupid. So I also replied that he's also a stupid man. So we exchanged words like that. You are stupid. Next time he repeated, you come here and do that interview again, you will see. I said, no, you can't do anything. You're also stupid. That was it. Then one of my lawyers came and grabbed me and pulled me. Whilst we were walking away, so like the distance between myself and the soldier, maybe 4 or 5 meters away, right? Yeah, 5 meters at least. Whilst we were going to the reception, then I saw one policewoman. So I said, madam, I'm coming to lodge a complaint against these soldiers. Because what are soldiers even doing in the OSP? If there's a danger, the building will be bombed and the rest. Won't you dress them and place them at strategic points to be ready? What is this thing about? Is the soldiers who are mingling with police and doing normal police duties, supplanting the Ghana Police Service. The very thing we've been saying, that let the Ghana Police Service grow. Let Ghana Police Service grow. Let Ghana... Because the abuse, you see, let's even say me, the arrest itself is unnecessary, but let's say, you see how I am, I'm very objective, even against myself. If they think that what happened there, we should go to court, they want to investigate it, don't stop them. No, how will our country develop? Maybe out of this case, we'll now see where the merits lie. If a soldier insults a citizen, are we saying the citizen cannot reply? If the court so hold, we'll see. If the court say no, you can't in the first place as a soldier, what are you even doing there, etc. So we'll see. So I cannot say that the decision to arrest is an abuse. Where the abuse arises is the bail conditions and also the stalling. They decide to waste time. In the first place, when I finish writing my statement, this is a small offense, okay? So basically, exchange of words. I didn't attempt to hit the soldier. There was no physical altercation. It wasn't physical. I just spoke. I mean, no attempt to touch him, etc. So he just admit me to bail so that we'll continue from there.
You believe alleged obstruction doesn't call for demand for landed property?
Absolutely. So that's where I'm coming from. No, not landed property. Not like that. No. Not landed. And even when I gave it, they now shift. When I sought to, my office is just even a walking distance, about 10 minutes walk, okay, to the OSP. So when I told them I could produce the landed documents in 10 minutes, okay, then the guy agreed. But that's Abraham Ablomensa, he agreed. But later decided to go out to go and consult. I presume Alberta Kruger and co were the people he was consulting, etc. He came back and said no. Now he changed it. Initially, I just said landed property, okay, whether bare land or house. But later now said, oh, even when you bring it, we want to go and verify. So if you say verification, Ms. Aveji, verification can take 1 month. We are obviously. So I'm reviewing all the facts. I'm reviewing all, definitely. After presenting them, you can know that I'm not one to run away from such a fight.
After presenting the petition to the president, if you find any merit in taking them on legally, you would not hesitate to do so. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes. After the petition, we'll come back and assess this case for malicious prosecution.
Okay. But the petition itself, when will it be ready?
Oh, what's happening is that more citizens are giving us information. Just this morning, I got more citizens coming to give me more information. So let's give it a bit of time. It's possible maybe another 1 week, because right now as I'm standing here, I'm on charge number 15 against Kisi Ejabe. But this morning, Charlie, people say, no, Martin, wait, we'll get you more information. So information, more treasure trove. So let it roll in. When we are done, then we'll see.
The Trades Union Congress is mounting pressure on government, demanding an immediate return to the negotiating table after the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission announced fresh increases in electricity and water tariffs effective January 1, 2026. In a strongly worded statement signed by the Secretary General Joshua Ansah, the TUC said it is outraged by the PURC's decision to raise electricity tariffs by 9.8% and water tariffs by 15.9%, describing the move as an insensitive New Year's gift to Ghanaian workers already struggling under a high cost of living. Now let's get details of that statement from the screen. It says the increases are yet to take effect from January 1, 2026, and the very day the paltry 9% increase in the minimum wage and the base pay by government will also take effect. This can only be described as government's New Year's gift to Ghanaians. In 2025, the government granted a wage increase of 10% and increased electricity tariffs cumulatively by more than 18%. As workers bemoaned the wage increase for 2026 in the light of the prevailing cost of living, the least they expected was for government to spring a surprise on them with increases in prices of utilities. According to workers, this increment has completely eroded the 9% wage adjustment for 2026. Clearly, government is demonstrating its insensitivity to the daily struggles of workers and Ghanaians. What government has done is worse than robbing Peter to pay Paul. In plain language, government has robbed the poor Ghanaian worker of the 9% wage increase it had agreed to implement on January 1, 2026. Workers cannot accept these increases unless government comes back to the negotiating table to top up the wage increase for 2026. Anything short of that, the TUC will mobilize workers to resist the implementation of these insensitive increases in utility prices. On Monday, 8 December 2025, TUC, Organized Labour, will hold a press conference on these insensitive increases. At the press conference, we will outline measures to address this obnoxious tariff increase. Let's engage now Mr. Ofosu-Asamoah. He's a labor expert. We're grateful for your time, sir. Well, this is a very strongly worded letter from Labour on the increases in utility tariffs, but should this be the approach?
Well, by calling the government to come to renegotiation of the base fee, that is the 9%, that was agreed on. You know when?
Mr. Asamoah, can you please reposition yourself so we can hear you properly?
Yeah. Hello?
Yes. Unfortunately, we're having some technical challenges. We'll re-establish the line to Mr. Asamoah and get details of that on that Labour letter. But President Mahama has attributed the poor results in exams to the recent West Africa Senior High School exams to years of neglect of basic education. Speaking at the national launch of STEM Box for basic schools, he said the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service will study the examiner's report and implement urgent reforms. He stressed that strict invigilation is here to stay and urged parents in schools to ensure that students adequately prepare. Meanwhile, President Mahama has declared war on criminal networks, saying that Ghana will not surrender a single street, community or public space to criminals. Speaking after handing over 40 armored vehicles to the Ghana Police Service at the police headquarters, he said Ghana will deal ruthlessly with criminals.
Our economy, as we expand trade and investment, and as we pursue innovation, we recognize that without strong security, development cannot thrive and societies cannot progress. These vehicles have been procured as operational tools, not as symbols. They are designed to strengthen police response in high-risk environments. They enhance officer protection when you engage in dangerous operations. They reinforce patrols in rugged terrain and high-crime zones. They improve convoy, crowd control, and rapid response capabilities. And they give officers the operational advantage that you deserve when confronting violent criminals. Let me state clearly, our dear country Ghana will not surrender a single street, a community, or any public space to criminals today, tomorrow, or forever. To those who insist on disturbing the peace of our nation, whether through armed robbery, organized crime, illegal arms trafficking, or gang activity, our message is simple. The Ghanaian state is ready. The Ghana Police Service is ready.
The Inspector General of Police, Christian Tete Yonu, who received the vehicles, thanked government for the gesture and revealed that the police service has put in place comprehensive security arrangements ahead of the Christmas season.
It has been put in place before, during and after the festivities. We urge you to continue to support us, come on board, share information with the police so that together we will continue to make our beloved country one of the safest places in the sub-region. Your Excellency, the vehicles that we have now, after this program, we are going to hit the road and show force to give assurance to people and Ghanaians that we are ready to fight the crimes. Long live the Ghana Police Service, long live Ghana. Thank you all for your attention. Thank you very much.
Now let's head back to the office of the Special Prosecutor and speak to my colleague James Aveji, who is there and joining us with some updates. James, what's the latest? What exactly is Martin Kpebu as we speak?
Well, Mamiesi, I can confirm to you that lawyer Martin Kpebu has made his way to the office of the Special Prosecutor to honor that fourth invitation by the OSP on the back of his own allegations of corruption and incompetence against Special Prosecutor himself, Kisie Jabeng, following the what transpired here yesterday. I must tell you that that schedule was for 11 a.m., but exactly 10:49 a.m., he drove through the gates of the Special Prosecutor by himself, not in the company of any of his legal counsels. But what we are not clear about is whether the counsels were already there waiting for him or they had followed up later. But he himself has been at the court complaints to, as it were, conduct a few activities before making his way here. And so he has spent over an hour already in the premises of the OSP. Before he got in, he told me that he did not expect to spend up to an hour if his objections have not been addressed. In fact, he says that he wants to present or speak to the board of the OSP, who, through that release from Sami Darko, indicated that as we speak, the OSP does not have a constituted board. And so it also raises the question as to how long the OSP has been operating without a board. But Martin Kpebu tells me that when he goes in there and the committee is not reconstituted, he will not speak to him. And so spending over an hour, it is just safe to assume that maybe that board has been reconstituted or some other things has been ongoing in there, or he has compromised to sit with the committee that is in place to receive answers from him from those allegations. And so we're waiting here for him to come out and update us on what has transpired in there. But just by way of information, we also know that from that press release from Sami Darko, he raised a number of issues. First, about the conduct of Martin Kpebu, which he says was not the first time he was aggressive to the officers here at the premises of the OSP, and that the arrest that was made yesterday is a separate incident from the interrogation that has been happening based on his own allegations of corruptions and incompetence. And so, just to put on record from Sami Darko that what happened was on the basis of the altercation or interaction between him and the security officers in the premises. He also goes on to address the matter of the qualification of those that are part of the board of interrogation. He said they are equivalent to commissioners of police, and so there is no latitude in the argument that those are subordinates of the OSP and the SP, and so do not qualify to sit on that committee to interrogate him. And so those are the key things Sami Darko has been addressing before he goes on to narrate what has happened leading to his arrest, sending to the NIB, and then later released. What is also begging answers is why the OSP decided to release Martin Kpebu when their request states that he needed to provide document of a landed property and one surety which needs to be justified, which means that they would have to go through the process to validate that. What we know is that as of last night, that process was not consummated before Martin Kpebu has been released. And so it begs the question as to whether or not that basis of arrest is still in position, or the OSP has varied their position on that matter. And so we'll be asking him all of those questions to get some more answers. But as we speak, I can confirm to you that Martin Kpebu has spent over an hour in that building, hopefully now complying with the officials of the OSP and answering to the questions that the OSP needs some answers to as far as his allegations of corruption and incompetence is concerned. Just before I let you, I leave it here, he's also indicated that by next week, his dossier of petition against Kissie Jabing, the SP, will be ready and will be presented to President John Mahama for the removal of Mr. Kissie Jabing. That will make 4 separate petitions against the SP himself. And so we're also looking forward to that. And that is the latest coming here. Martin Kpebu is in there having an interaction with officers and will be here to keep you updated when he comes out with details of what has transpired in the building right behind me, Mamiesi.
James Aveji there giving us updates from the office of the OSP. Well, let's go back to Mr. Ofosu Asamoah, labor expert, on the labor unions, disagreement with government on the increase in tariff, in utility tariffs. Mr. Asamoah, we're grateful for joining us again. Hopefully our lines are clear this time around. And I was asking that the labor unions really have released a strong weather statement, disagreeing with government on the increase in utility tariffs. What do you make of this statement?
Yes, if the labor unions have issued a statement disagreeing with the government on the increase in the tariffs, of course, lies their right mandate to do so. In speaking the well workers, because they are the increase that was in them will be eroded this tariff in this way. However, I am of the opinion that it's not for them to force the negotiating to read. This is our year. So the test is for next. It doesn't mean that whatever increase of the tariffs will not happen. Because if the government will have to go to the negotiating table each time there is an increase, then in fact, that is going to be erratic. Because assuming tomorrow the prices of petrol go up, the government will have to renegotiate. Another time, everything goes up, the government will forever negotiate this, and that's still the price. However, if the increase is in such a way that it is going to affect West enormously or negatively in such a manner that virtually anything they could as well argue with the government to give some form of allowance. They have some good allowance to cushion them from the suffering. But to call upon the government to go to the table and renegotiate, I leave the fact that is not.
Right. So in this situation, how should government respond?
Well, the government will have to engage the leadership of the labor unions and find a way of, pushing them if need be. But like I'm saying, if each time there is an increment, there must be negotiating. Each time there is an increment, there must be negotiating. That's going to be difficult. So the labor union should find a way of engaging government. But these tariffs are announced today. I don't think that any agreement and they're going out to issue a strong worded statement and letter. I don't think it's the best. I don't think government and the people have extreme relations. I mean, there's always be a good between labor and employer. Take the meaning that so that she will get government that is so that what we have sometimes taken in what was there delivered.
Well, that's Mr. Ofosu Asamoah. He's a former executive secretary of the TUC. Thank you so much for your time. Now, admissions, finance and audit services in public technical universities are gradually grinding to a halt as a strike by Technical University Senior Administrators Association of Ghana continues unabated. TUC on Wednesday, December 3, declared an indefinite strike following what they term a blatant breach of agreement by government concerning the payment of a negotiated one-time research allowance that has been outstanding for nearly 17 months. at the Kumasi Technical University. Members of the group have abandoned work, insisting they aren't ready to back down. Akwesi Safo-Agyemang is the local president of TUC.
Roles will be impacted. And when I mention the non-teaching roles, they include the non-teaching directorates and the departments, academic affairs, admissions, audit, finance, liaison, works, legal, clinic, all the non-teaching roles. The school is in two groups, the teaching side and then the non-teaching side. So any activity that's supposed to be undertaken by a senior member who is non-teaching, that role will be affected. The only thing that could compel us to come back is the payment of the one-time research allowance. So until it is paid, I believe nothing could compel us to come back.
And in fact, this is not even captured in the budget, so what I want.
No, this one was signed in 2024, so it was supposed to be paid in 2024. And per our checks, this one-time research allowance has been captured by the Ministry of Finance. That's the checks that we made. That some allocations have been made for this particular payment. So we don't actually understand why, up to date, they have failed to pay.
Well, Health Minister Kpebu Kando has revealed that Ghana's two major cities, Accra and Kumasi, account for roughly 40% of new HIV infections, making them the country's current epicenters. He's been speaking at the opening of the 23rd International Conference on AIDS and STIs in Accra.
The epidemic is unevenly distributed across the country. Greater Accra and Ashanti regions account for nearly 40% of all new infections. Adolescents and young adults aged 10 to 24 years contribute almost 1/3 of new cases, with adolescent girls and young women disproportionately affected due to entrenched gender inequalities and socio-economic vulnerabilities.
Meanwhile, Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyemang has outlined government initiatives to tackle HIV/AIDS as Ghana continues to fall short of the USAID 95-95-95 targets. Professor Opoku-Agyemang said government has rolled out a national HIV/AIDS responsive program to deal with the disease.
Africa cannot outsource her health security. Our national approach is anchored in our broader reset agenda. This is a long-term strategy to build a self-sustaining, technology-driven, data-enabled, and equitable health system. And its pillars are the following three. One, sustainable and predictable financing. A national HIV response sustainable roadmap is being developed to secure domestic financing and strengthen accountability. Two, strengthening universal health coverage. Government has uncapped the NHIS to expand fiscal space for essential health services.
Well, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyemang taking us on a break here on Joy News Today. We'll be back with business.
Good afternoon, welcome to Business on Joy News Today. My name is James Asian. To our very first story now. Stanbic Bank has launched the Beyond School Academy for girls with a dynamic financial literacy session that introduced young participants to budgeting, goal setting and smart money habit, marking a strong start to the program's mission of empowering the next generation of female leaders. There is more in the following report.
Of the Stanbic Youth Banking Beyond School Academy for Girls was led by the head of customer experience at SIMS, Miriam Meku Emisa, who guided the young participants through the fundamentals of beginning their financial journey. She highlighted the importance of starting early and starting right, from identifying personal financial goals to building effective budgets.
It's more for SHS graduates who've been home for a while, casting our minds back. We remember when we were kids and we finished school, we were just at home whiling away the time with nothing to learn. And like you all know, Stanbic Bank has a deep concern for young people, their growth and how they turn out. So we put this program together to bring these girls here for 3 days to empower them, make them confident, even as they prepare for the university and other tertiary institutions. We have different programs targeted for the various genders, and along the line we'll have one for the young boys as well. So we're starting with the young girls. Tailored curriculum to help them in their lives in the university and tertiary.
Head of Personal Banking at Stanbic Bank, Harry Opoku-Ajiman, underscored the broader impact such training on the youth, particularly in shaping their financial confidence and future decision-making.
More on entrepreneurship, because now we all know how employment situation is. So we try as much as possible to get each of them to come out of their comfort zone, come out and then try to do something which is innovative, something that they can do that they will not be dependent on other people. So we bring in facilitators who help them with such skills, so that as soon as they leave university, they are already empowered and they know what they want to do. So basically, this Stanbic Youth Banking Initiative, we've started with the girls. In future, we may be roping in the boys as well. But this is just the beginning. It is just to help these girls acquire the necessary skills and leadership skills, as well as digital skills, importantly, to help them in their future journey.
The session was highly interactive, with participants engaging in practical exercises designed to apply the concept of real-life situations. By the end of the program, the students were equipped with actionable steps to manage their finances wisely and confidently, laying a solid foundation for the sessions ahead.
Now, British International Investment, the UK's development finance arm, is injecting fresh capital into Ghana's small business ecosystem through a $20 million to the First National Bank. This is expected to broaden access to financing for micro, small and medium enterprises at a time many are struggling to stay afloat. Here is more in this report.
British International Investment, the UK's development finance institution, has extended a $20 million loan facility to First National Bank to boost lending to micro, small and medium-sized enterprises across the country. The signed agreement is designed to deepen support for businesses that form the backbone of Ghana's economy. Chief Executive of First National Bank, Warren Adams, described the 5-year loan as a timely intervention that will enable the bank to scale its financing to small businesses.
What we're hoping to achieve is lending to MSMEs. So the backbone of any economy is your small and medium-sized enterprises. This is where employment is created. This is where impacts are made around communities. What we do at First National Bank very much aligns with building businesses. We want to partner with the business, which is why BRR is very, very important, because they hold those similar values to us. When we talk to our clients, we want to be seen as partners. We want to partner, and we always try and partner with our clients. It's not just a funding transaction, an arrangement. What we want to do is help you grow, help you understand and navigate the waters of growing your business.
He noted that the bank will direct a significant portion of the facility to sectors with strong potential for growth and job creation.
Where we're currently seeing success and where we want to drive even further success is impactful areas in the economy. So agriculture is a big one. And then we look at our primary industries. We all know that Ghana is famous for gold mining and other mines, oil and gas, and where we will endeavour to play is the downstream services that support those very large businesses. Fast-moving consumer goods, all of it is linked in terms of trying to build ecosystems that will generate the right level of impact in the economy.
Managing Director and Head of Africa at the British International Investment, Chris Chijotomi, reaffirmed the institution's commitment to supporting enterprises that drive long-term development. He added that the partnership aligns with its mission to empower local businesses with capital to expand and create jobs.
90% of businesses in Ghana is in the SME space. About 80% of people employed in Ghana today come from businesses that are defined as SMEs. We actually have been investing in SME even in Ghana. The signing today with FMB is another route for us to get into areas where we ordinarily wouldn't get into. And therefore my ambition, which is with what I have with the team here, is for us to find other channels to deepen our exposure into the SME space. So SME as a segment is a big space for us going forward. But I think the partnership today is a big enabler for how we can actually do it with the right partner.
The facility is expected to increase liquidity for thousands of micro, small and medium enterprises, helping them invest, restock and scale.
For business on Joy News today. Up next is sports.
Hello and welcome to Midday Sports with me, Benaya Elom Dapamapo. 2021 FA Cup champions Hearts of Oak were knocked out early from this season's competition after losing 1-0 to Division 2 side True Life FC in the round of 64. The Phobians went into the game with confidence after beating Division FC on Sunday, but a late goal at the Pobiman Sports Complex shocked them. After the match, some angry fans blamed head coach Didi Dramani for the defeat.
Me say FA Cup, Africa, and a league Africa. So what I say, oh, boy, FA Cup for first 11 ball. Now, Joe, 10 points, they go, baby. Ufi say, yeah, Bobo. And you go see a 2 poem. And yeah, boy, yeah, first 11. You will lose. Me say, coach, you know, Turo, and on a say, coach, you know, Turo, on a Massa, Massa, Obiani, Mr. Lake, Africa, and FA Cup Africa. So I said, bon first 11. So plus here do about here. I feel you move me. Nyasabene will say it fraction. Nyasabene. So I said, me say enough is enough of all those bullshit. Mugu and Masedo, Mugu and Masas. There be a Muslim say, Yakokacha man for the Mumbra Stadium. Stadium, you buy, where do you Messi, you are born second division team. Yeah, be a capital for me coaches. I swear. What's the coach now? Wow, Bob. I don't know. Coach, wow, Bob. The tactical play. And what be a capital for me coaches. I swear. Be a capital, but I'm not coach. We are winning coaching team. Me, my Bobo.
Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca said his side got what they deserved in a 3-1 shock loss to Leeds United on Wednesday. That dealt a blow to their title hopes in the Premier League. The defeat came just 3 days after his team battled against 10 men, which is Arsenal, to a 1-1 draw.
I think they were better than us in all the aspects. There is nothing that we can take from this game. Probably after the goal we scored second half, we start better. After the goal we scored, we had few chances with Cole, with Joao, but then the third goal killed the game.
Was intensity the issue tonight as well?
Everything. I think they were better than us on the ball, off the ball, duels, second ball, intensity, all these aspects that you need in the Premier League, otherwise you struggle against any team.
I know we've spoken about it before, but with so many games in such quick succession, you have to make changes. How much does that disrupt the rhymthm, though, when you have to do that?
Yeah, probably. For different reasons, we need to make changes. Again, try to protect players like Wes, like Reese, Moise out, so all important players for us. But we need to do that for to protect players, that they are very important for us. But even making changes, I think you have to come here and perform much better.
And that's our wrap up the sports segment with me, Benaya Elom Dapamapo. Up next is World News.
Let's do some world news now. Leaders of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda will sign a peace deal to end the long-running conflict in the region at a summit hosted by U.S. President Donald Trump in Washington. Ahead of the summit, there has been an escalation in fighting in resource-rich eastern DR Congo between government forces and rebels believed to be backed by Rwanda. DR Congo's army accused its rivals of attempting to, quote, sabotage the peace process. The M23 rebels said the army had launched an offensive in breach of a ceasefire. Also, U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will meet the head of Ukraine's National Security Council, Rustem Umerov, for talks in Miami. Witkoff spent almost 5 hours with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow on Tuesday in negotiations, which the Kremlin said produced, quote, no compromise, end quote, on ending the war in Ukraine. U.S. President Donald Trump said the talks attended by his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, were reasonably good, but it was too soon to say what would happen because it does take two to tango. Putin said reaching a consensus would not be an easy task, reportedly highlighting Moscow's repeated demand that Ukrainian troops withdraw from Donbas region. This is Joy News Today. We'll take a break. We'll return with more. Showbiz now. Ghanaian Afrobeat sensation Olive the Boy is shining a spotlight on his roots, proudly reaffirming his identity as a son of Konongo. The breakout star says his rise from the small Ashanti town to the global stage is not just his personal story, it's a blueprint of hope for young people who feel overlooked. As he continues to evolve as a writer and performer, Olive the Boy believes his journey should remind every dreamer in Konongo that greatness is possible with focus and hard work.
Ghana's fast-rising sensation Olive the Boy says his story cannot be told without mentioning Konongo, the Ashanti community where he grew up. To him, coming from Konongo is not a limitation, it's a message.
From Konongo to the world? Yeah, Konongo to the world. That's, I feel like it will actually motivate a lot of other Konongo people to feel like, okay, we can also do something. So yes, I think it's a good thing.
The singer, known for his distinct writing style, also attributes his powerful lyrics to his personality. These traits, he says, help him craft the expressive stories fans love.
I'm mostly very quiet, and so I have time to think. You know, yeah. I'm mostly like very, very quiet, so there's a lot of time to think.
And with 2026 approaching, the singer is setting his sights high for the Teletel Ghana Music Awards. He believes his work this season places him in strong contention.
Are you looking forward to some TGMAs next year? Next year? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Maybe EP of the year. Afrobeat, Afropop. Afrobeat artist, Afrobeat song. Maybe songwriter of the year. Yeah. You're not talking about vocal performance?
Song of the year?
Song of the year, maybe. Maybe.
For Olive the Boy, the mission is clear. Carry Konongo along, keep creating, and prove that quiet observation can still lead to loud impact on Ghana's music scene.
Indeed, greatness is possible, and that's how we wrap up this edition of Joy News Today. There's more news on myjoyonline.com And the top story there is President Mahama links poor WASSCE results to neglect in basic education. Also, strike at public technical universities disrupts admissions, finance services over unpaid allowances. I am Amici Nyamiche Thompson. Thanks for your company. We're back again tomorrow.